Friends, welcome. It has been increasingly evident that the preliminary stage of UPSC civil service examination has become very difficult and many students are finding it very difficult to clear the examination. So, after 2025 preliminary examination, we have conducted a survey on why students are not able to clear this examination, I mean prelims examination. Also, we have taken the suggestions of the experts and then have arrived at a conclusion. Now let me present you the top 10 reasons why most of the UPSC aspirants are not able to clear are failing to clear the preliminary examination. Firstly, the biggest and well-known reason is this examination at the preliminary stage is full of huge competition. Usually, if you consider 2025 examination, almost 10 lakh students have applied for the examination and almost 6 lakh students have sat for the examination, out of which only 14,000, around 14,000 are clearing the prelims, which means there is a huge competition in the examination itself, and also UPSC is forced to mercilessly eliminate the students by making the question paper difficulty level higher. So this is one of the reasons why most of the students are not able to clear, because of narrow bandwidth of selection. Secondly, there is underestimation of the preliminary examination. Generally, what happens for an average student, the mindset is like this: preliminary examination is just a initial stage, the first beginning stage, and mains is the actual examination which will make them an IAS. That is the reason this need not be taken so seriously. This thought itself is enough to eliminate you from the examination, because not just the nature, you have to consider the competition and the difficulty level also regarding the examination. That is the reason you have to change your mindset that prelims itself is a difficult stage and nearly 5 to 6 months averagely is required for clearing the preliminary examination. Now, third thing is that we have observed that most of the students are not finishing, if not every part of the syllabus, even the required amount of the syllabus is also not being completed. This may be owing to different reasons. For example, not able to find the right sources. Some students who have completed somewhat syllabus, you can say. Now the other aspect is that they are not able to revise. First reading is very funny and is enjoyable for a aspirant, but then revision requires, for some students feel revision boring, and then also revision requires lot of memory investment to understand the analytical part and to grab and memorize the factual content is a very Herculean task to many aspirants. Here they are lacking. Now other thing is that lacking application skills. Friends, UPSC is one of the examination in the country where you have to apply the knowledge. In any other examination you consider directly, if you study, that questions would appear in the exam, you study and write the exam. But this is an exam: study, apply, and you write the exam. This is the chain which you have to follow. So this, because of being tuned to the directly in the books to marks, not books to marks, books, application and marks is required. This is like this kind of skill is lacking in many of the students. Now, sixth reason we have found out is stressful preparation. Friends, during preparation, during study, there is a lot of stress in the aspirant. For example, fear of missing out, whether if they are studying something, whether this question may come or may not come, or else will they remember this? If they remember also, can they apply this in the examination hall? Lot of apprehensions, confusions, only imaginary hurdles they keep on in the preparation, and this itself becomes a lot of stress, with the whole stress accumulates, and then on the examination day it gets blasted. That is the reason they would not able to solve the questions in the preliminary exam. Now coming to the test mismanagement, this is see, any aspirant who is preparing for preliminary examinations undergoes two types of tests. First is the UPSC PYQs. These are also a form of test, and other is the private test series, any coaching centers test series. Now they have to be taken how they are meant to. So for example, a test series can be used only to, or else how to eliminate the thing, eliminate the options, or if you don't know any question, how you have to approach, you have to do these kind of things. Instead of this, some of the students, if they don't attempt any question, they are getting so much demotivated, lot of underconfident they are going. So this kind of self-confidence is lost, and then very defensive play is developed among the aspirants because of faulty test series also. So if you are going to a wrong test series, or even if it is right test series, if you are not taking it in a way how you have to take it, this creates an enormous pressure, stress, and that will be reflected in the examination, and because of this thing also students are getting failed. Now coming to the eighth reason, every subject has its own requirement, dear friends. For example, history and geography has the requirement of a factual knowledge testing, and then environment and science and tech has a requirement of current affairs awareness, and then also economy is there, it requires an application oriented. You need not remember everything of the economy definition or numericals, but then its application is being asked in the examination. If you don't prepare accordingly for the preliminary examination, then all your energy gets wasted. So doing right things at right time in right way, this is the key, this is the mantra to clear the prelims examination, and most students are lacking here. Other thing is that PYQ analysis and knowing the pulse of the examiner is also very important. When we have seen a lot of students, in the name of PYQs, they are just mugging up the answers and imagining that things are completed, done. But then if you look at the toppers, they take nearly 8 to 10 hours to analyze a 100 marker UPSC questions, which mean every PYQ will give you a message that you have to do this. This is the requirement. This is the administrative requirement. This is the where you have to apply common sense. This is where you have to, don't touch this question. This is a trap. These kind of messages are given to you through the questions. UPSC is trying to communicate to you. It is trying to convey you something. Please learn that. That is where you will learn from. That is what you have to learn from PYQs, and then apply the same thing in the main examination also. So if you just mug up the answers, what you are getting from the PYQs? Nothing. The last but not the least is the demon of CSAT. CSAT is one thing which we grantedly take that it is a qualifying examination, and it is only 66 marks we have to get. It is not counted for the for the merit list, and then this is the one which we are studying from a lot of days. I mean, from childhood we are reading English and maths. That is the reason it is an easy thing. This kind of mindset is enough to derail you from the competition, because what you perceive is not the reality. This is not understood by many of the aspirants. So these are top 10 reasons. Apart from this, we have also other reasons, like for example, on the examination day also, some students are mismanaging the things, like after first paper they are not taking rest and going to the second paper and ruining that. So these kind of issues, many of them we have noticed. So we are not here just to identify the problems, we are here to provide the solutions as well. Here, after the findings of the survey, after taking the inputs from the survey and also from the experts and from our own experience of a preliminary examination, we have designed a strategy which in a nutshell is, we call it as a S3 strategy. Here S stands for sources, another S stands for strategy, and third S stands for smart implementation. Let me give you a brief understanding about this S3 strategy. Sources. We have almost 8 subjects in the preliminary examination. So sources are important for everything. For example, current affairs. If you study from a wrong sources, then there is a less chance that the question should be reflected in the examination. So you have to read the right sources. For example, history is there. If you choose the wrong book, there is a high chance that you would get confused and get lost in this lot of flooded with facts. So that is the reason you need to identify. You need to consider two things. One is the hit ratio, and secondly it is the possibility to complete the book. Based on these two factors, you have to figure out the sources and finish them. And secondly, strategy is there for every specific paper, for every subject, and also for every chapter. So you have to design these specific strategies and then keep on implementing them. Coming to the smart implementation, you need to have a macro schedule, micro schedule, targets, and way of implementation also. While implementing, you will be come acrossing with lot of apprehensions, confusions, imaginations, and all these things. You have to overcome them, and keeping both personality and knowledge in hand, you have to move forward and implement the strategy. So with this S3 model, you can ace the prelims. We at Arjun IAS has been working out on the strategy and lot of other things required to clear the preliminary examination. In the upcoming video, we are going to go into more details about the S3 strategy and every subject specific sources, subject specific strategies, PYQ, deciphering PYQs and many more, and specifically CSAT, which will be helping you to clear this preliminary examination with a flying colors. So that is the reason, please approach Arjun IAS and then get benefited yourself. Thank you.